Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Well, today, it's the day after independence, and so a lot of you will not be watching us from the office. You have the luxury of being able to see us from home. A fine morning to you, and in a sense, it's not too late to wish ourselves a 63rd, a happy 63rd anniversary. Our guests this morning are here for that reason. In fact, they themselves are not dressed for the office. So you can see there's the celebratory white Honorable Segun Olulade, former member of the Lagos State House of Assembly and APC chieftain, and Mr. Ademola Adegoke, a communications consultant. Thank you, both gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Nigeria. Happy independence.
Indeed.
Well,
happy
and thank you for having me here.
Indeed. There are those who are saying, well, first of all, it was low key. And we'll come back to talk about that because that was instructive, such is the lie of the ground. It was low key. Even the parade was actually in the official residence of the president, as opposed to the big Eagle Square.
Yeah.
All of these are in keeping with the times that we're in. We'll come back and talk about that. But first of all, Femi Akonde put together a report on the president's speech yesterday. Let's take that to kick off our conversation.
Dear compatriots,
President Bola Tinubu's Independence Day broadcast to the country to commemorate Nigeria's 63rd anniversary. Also his first as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
did not assist.
His message to Nigerians was filled with hope in a moment of despair caused by prevailing national challenges.
Here, our nation stands, and here we shall remain.
There was also something to cheer about for the low-income earners at a time when the country is at the brink of a nationwide strike that has so far defied all negotiations and efforts to avert a shutdown of the economy.
Here,
President Tinubu addressed some of the demands put on the table by organized labor, especially with regards to improved and cheaper public transportation for workers and the implementation of other interventions.
we have opened a new chapter in public transportation through the development of cheaper, safer, compressed natural gas, CNG, buses. These buses will operate at a fraction of current fuel prices, positively affecting transport fare.
Fixing the economy and improving the quality of lives has been one of the key priorities of President Tinubu's administration. So far, efforts are underway to review the monetary policy, introduce tax reforms, and create employment.
We are increasing investment.
The president saluted the efforts of the troops and other security agencies in ensuring the safety of lives and property. He acknowledged the improved synergy between security agencies and appreciated the support of other arms of government and critical partners working to enhance the process of governance.
Here, I salute and commend our gallant security forces for keeping us safe and securing our territorial integrity. Many have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We remember them today. The next 6 months, the average low-grade worker shall receive an additional 25,000 naira per month.
Nigerians already look forward to the rollout of plans and implementation of programs put in place by the Tinubu administration to improve the fortunes of the country. The president also promised to run an inclusive government that will be fair to all, especially women, youth, and people with disability. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, then. So a recap of, you probably all heard the speech live, and it's been widely reported. let's look at some of the takeaways from that speech. I think all of it was important, but the major one would have been the president affirming that he is aware of difficulties in the land coming from an indispensable policy of removing the subsidy on fuel. And just take it from that he recalled that and sort of was solidarizing with us, if people can understand that. Of course, look at that, all of this against the backdrop of a strike that has been threatened by labor, but then has continually been engaged with between federal government and labor, culminating yesterday, by the way, in an increase from the 25,000 naira the president had spoken about to 35,000 now, and also adjusting it from low-grade workers, so-called. Now even yours truly can look forward to something because they have now said it's all over, But please continue with the takeaways that you saw.
Yes, let's. For me, from my own background of communication and perception management, you will want to look at a speech like this from two main angles. One, you want to look at the rhetorics of the speech, and you want to look at the substance of the speech. Talking about the rhetorics of the speech, I can see two things coming out, which you have made and we have made allusion to. The first one is empathy, that solidarization with the people. You will see that even in the opening lines of the speech, that was made clear by the president. He said, I address you today, not only as president, but as a fellow Nigerian. You understand? That is empathy, which, the president tried to connect with the people. That forget about the fact that I am president. All said and done, I'm still one of you as a Nigerian. And, he went on and said, I have, a heart that feels and eyes that sees. So that tells us that the president is coming to us as someone who is, one of us. You understand that? Okay, and even in another paragraph, he said, some people will want to bring to build their family mansion on a swamp, but I am not one of them. If the president is saying that he is not one of them, and he can't stand alone, I mean, the corollary is that he is on our side. I mean, that is the inference you want to draw from that. I'm not one of them. I know people who you will want to build their mansion on a swamp, but I am not one of them. I am with you. So he tried as much as possible to connect with us in that speech.
Do you think he did that, Honorable Uladi? Do you think he achieved that?
Yeah, I must confess to you, I feel so happy seeing my president wearing the same shoe that I wear. And talking about feeling the way I feel on the streets. And that shows somebody, like he actually said, that we have a leader that have empathy.
But Honorable Uladi, you want us to take that seriously. I mean, when you said that, you said it with all seriousness.
Yes.
Talking about the same shoe that you wear. I introduced you as Honorable Uladi.
Well, I am Honorable Uladi.
You guys,
I am honorable.
You guys, it is thought, have it easier. Let me not say easy. Have it easier. Is that a wrong notion?
It's a wrong notion. And I must tell you, we go to the same market that everybody goes to. Even we have more pressure than so many people will ever think about. We don't always have what they thought we have. And people come to us because they see us as the leader, which we are. And they run to us for assistance that people don't really know about. And it's just not about us being an honorable member or whatever. It's everybody that is a public person in the society. Once you are a leader, even in your community, people run to you. So that does not mean you don't feel the pain. You also feel the pain. And that's what he is talking about.
So jokes apart,
So
this cuts across.
It cuts across. It's everybody is feeling the thing. The heat is also on him. The pressure is on him. Even if you look at him critically, you see the pressure on him. That he is not. He's
like feeling the pains of Nigeria.
Yes, he's feeling the pain. He's carrying an heavy load, and unfortunately, he's in a position of having a thankless job. When you occupy a position where whatever thing you do, some people will say, what is he doing or whatever. So it's a very difficult position. But notwithstanding, we see a president connecting with the grassroots. We see a president, and it's because of that connection that you will see talking about the low-grade workers. That he was so concerned about them that even everybody thinking about it, he felt that these are the people that are feeling the impact more than some of us. And that's why he was talking about the low grade, the so-called, initially, the so-called downtrodden. And today, to the glory of God, we have seen that they have expanded the whole thing, and now everybody is in the net. But notwithstanding, when we talk about workers also, what's the percentage of workers? What's the percentage of the workers in Nigeria? They are not up to 20% of the total population.
Especially workers in the public sector.
Especially when we talk about workers in the public sector, we're talking about less than 10% of the general population of Nigeria. And whatever thing they take home, and that is why I was also concerned about the inflation, that whatever money you pump in can cause inflation. Because once you say they just increase the salary of some people, and some people do not, and those people, because they have some level of purchasing power, it will affect the economy, it will increase the inflation, and it will eat on the already hardship that Nigerians are going through. And that's why you see him coming plain to say, look.
So nobody is finding this comfortable. And the president sought to include himself. Say, look, yes, I am the leader here. But it's not, these are bold steps that needed to be taken, and without necessarily saying so, but implying so, it's a responsibility that had been sidestepped in the past. And so he spoke about making a bold decision and biting the bullet, as the Igbo people say, but he also was aware that it had consequences. And I think that sort of what was responsible for his somber mien yesterday as he was speaking. It's like, look, there's no going back on this, but this is a very painful decision, and this is going to work for us later on. Unfortunately, these are not the best of times on the world economy scale. So we have a situation where, combined with all of this, the dollar was moving over the 1,000 naira mark. People, are suddenly now using, 50,000 naira to fill their tanks, that kind of a thing. It doesn't matter what you drive. All of this would have had an effect on transportation, which he also was aware of, and so alluded. There's a sense in which these are not the most enjoyable of times for President Tinubu, but he's saying that I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I think from what we had said earlier on, the president is so clear. I don't want to use words because I'm not limiting it to his speech. It's so clear about, the effect, the policies of recent time has had on the people. Yes. But one thing again that you will see in that speech, I was talking about the rhetorics, and then I've not even come to the substance. But maybe we take everything together.
Yes.
But if you look at one thing again that you will see in that speech is inclusivity. That this is everybody's, task. You will see. In fact, for the first time, in a president's speech, I saw, something like, we have always said founding fathers. But we said founding fathers and mothers. And he went on to say, this country is your own. Love it and cherish it. So it that means that this is, for us, for him, this is a task that you cannot leave to the president alone. We must all join hands together to, tackle this. And,
But it's tough because
it's tough.
the president said reform is painful.
Yeah.
Those were his direct words.
And don't
Reform
forget-
may be painful, but it is what greatness and the future require. So Tinubu's looking into the future. Now, how many people, the next battle is to get people to see, as it were, what he is seeing. Because it's a very delicate one. When you hit people, not that anybody hit them, but when the policies that he is saying were inevitable, when it hits you where you hurt, in your wallet, whatever your budget was for food before, now this has taken part of that.
Well, there is a saying that says that there is no gain without pain. So what we are passing through now is the route that we ought to have passed through over the years.
And he's trying his best to mitigate that pain as much as possible.
Thank you. So that is what is happening today. Unfortunately, we are not being sincere with ourselves.
Okay.
Before now, during the election period, we are always, everybody is talking about, we are aware that Nigerians are going to go through hardship irrespective of whosoever becomes a president. All of a sudden, we are now seeing the man that is a president now as a magician. And his name is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's not Professor Pella of blessed memory. He's not a magician. He's not coming to perform magic. He's coming here to salvage what was the already mess that he met on ground. And he's trying to revive the economy. He's trying to work on the security. I mean, you see that speech talking about even those, our military men that are at the forefront of waging war against terrorism, waging war against insecurity in the country. He's identifying with them. That's a leader.
Indeed.
That's the president.
He was asking us to endure if we are to reach the, as he put it, the good side of our future, that we're going to have to endure. And then was saying that his government, and the personal pronoun that he was using, I think it was like taking responsibility. Say, look, this is tough. I mean, if any angst is going to come, I am the captain of this ship. I, with, my advisors, we make these decisions, and nobody should put the blame anywhere else. The president had said earlier, and in a different context, that we asked for this job.
Yeah.
And
nobody should pity me.
Yes, I don't need the pity. I'm going to do what needs to be done. It is probably easier to be popular than to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people will say that, I have something to say to that. But Tinubu has taken this, he has bitten the bullet. We are now at the crunch. And all the president was doing in that Independence Day broadcast was appealing for understanding.
Yeah.
Because this immediately, it could have been different if he had just kept quiet about this thing, kick the can further down the road, as has been done. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu says, no, it stops here. We're going to do the needful. And it has its attendant risks. But he's hoping that people will be understanding.
You know that if you look at it, he said, on this solemn but hopeful day. Solemn but hopeful. So what does that tell you? Yes, the situation presently may not be as rosy, as pleasant as we would ordinarily have wanted it to be, but there is hope.
Because there are reforms in process.
In process, you see. But I'm coming to the substance now. I talked about the rhetorics. Now, and he now outlines, all that he wants to do, to ensure that hope is real.
Some of it already being done. It's already in progress.
Yes.
There's a new governor of Central Bank, for instance.
And he said that. And, some people have said that I heard one person say that the president did not say anything about corruption. I'm not seeing it that way. You don't have to come frontally, to talk about it. Even if you look at that speech, he said the den of malfeasance that CBN has become, that is being addressed. So what else do you want about corruption? He also, he had also talked about those who want the perpetuation of the fuel subsidy and foreign exchange, which profits them alone. And he said, no, I am not going to go that route. So all this, is talking about, for me, is a way of addressing corruption, but not as frontally as some people may have expected. But what I want to say is this, that that a problem exists is not really the issue. The real issue is, how are you confronting the problem? How are the challenges being addressed? And that is what the president tried to let Nigerians know yesterday. The only thing that some others are also talking about is that there are no timelines. Now,
in that regard, sorry to interrupt you, in that regard, he had said that based on talks with labor, business, and other stakeholders. So just where you were going there, I have also read the critique that some feel that the consultation could have been even wider, a broader consultation. And then, as you were just about to touch on, people need to be carried along, people need to be making inputs, and one of those inputs would have been to maybe suggest a timeline. People, you see, people want to know when. We know it's going to be soon, it's not going to be forever. But look, let's go and be able to mark it up on our calendar that, okay, I'm going to have to suffer for this amount of months, and then the promise
for this long
was that things should become better.
Well, for me, government cannot be run the way people are thinking about.
But do you appreciate people saying timelines might be helpful?
Timelines, yes. He mentioned it. It's just that we are not looking at it that way. He says something like 6 months, 3 months. Those are timelines. That's okay, within this period, we'll have been able to have reached this set of people. Within 3 months, 75,000 naira for each household for 15 million people a household. Then in the issue of even the 35,000 naira now for all categories of public civil servants.
For 6 months, all of it is for 6 months.
For 6 months.
And that means that he has a timeline for this. And he knows why he's choosing those timelines. He knows that within that 6 months, everything being equal, a lot will have happened in our economy. And because he believes in what the policies that he has put in place, he understands. And let me also say this. There are things that we just believe could happen overnight that can't happen overnight in government, because there must be a provision by the budgetary provision for such items to have been put in place. This 35,000 naira that we're talking about is not even in the budget of Nigeria. So somebody is going to sit down and look into the budget and ensure that, and he has said it that he's submitting his supplementary budget that will cater for some of these things.
And this speaks to the president's concern. In fact, it's not just the president, the concern of the team, because this team, the Tinubu team, that's what I'm calling him and all his ministers, much has been made of the fact that these people are going to play strictly by the rules. You shall not be spending anyhow. You shall not be borrowing anyhow. Earning all those extra budgetary. So, but that it is got here means that he's listening. They are all listening, and they are seeing that. It doesn't matter what admonitions have been made. The situation calls for some other form of interaction and interjection to the situation. So that's one of the things that probably one can realize from the speech yesterday. It was a matter of embracing it and explaining to the people that hang on in there. of course there are those that are the naysayers. And these hard times is like cannon fodder for those naysayers.
For the
Yes.
naysayers.
Yes.
Cannon fodder. Well, aha, you see now. So the
told you.
implication being that if it had been us, it wouldn't have been like, but that's a barefaced untruth. Anybody that arrived at this particular time would have these things to contend with. So I don't know the extent to which we are really being fair. By all means, criticize, critique, and do all of that. But to now begin to suggest that it is anything but what it is, or that it is anybody's fault that we find
Even
ourselves
those who
in this
told us they are
situation.
going to stop fuel subsidy are saying, no, fuel subsidy is the in thing now and everything, you know.
So any way you look at it, tough times. But let's not dwell too much on the economy. You please say what you wanted to say. Let's not get to it's one of the most important things, itself and security.
Yes.
Those are very, very important. So we'll touch on that as well. But the economy is the first thing, and the economy is linked to all sorts of things, transportation, and as you were just saying that there are other ideas. But I think economists have been saying that they are very, very worried about trying to throw money at the problem.
It will destroy the...
Without production, without a corresponding amount of production. Because we're said to be broke.
Yeah.
Looking at by our reserves.
You see, when there is a problem, I won't want to dismiss such concerns. But then, I'm not, like I've said, I'm not dismissing those concerns, you know, outright. But you see, when there is a problem, you don't look at just one way of solving the problem. You consider several, you know, solution options.
Which I think is what opposition is saying.
You know, and you see, the president is not throwing, I don't think it goes beyond just throwing money, you know, at the problem. It goes beyond that. And I also want to believe that there may be more happening, even behind the scene, than what we are seeing. And I want to, maybe at this juncture, throw a challenge to the president's communication team. You know, because you see,
they have to be all out there.
They have to be all out there. We want to know. You see, even those people asking for timelines, we can't dismiss their concerns. You understand? Maybe someone has not taken time to explain to them that this is what, like he has done, and that, okay, no, he talked about 6 months, he talked about 3 months and all that. Maybe someone has not done that job. So we cannot dismiss the concerns of those. And look at people that are saying that money is being thrown at the problem. Maybe they have also not looked at the aspect that say that, you know, there are policies to boost production. The only thing is that we want specifics. When you say there are, you know, for example, now I didn't hear anything, you know, frontally, straight, you know, straight on about food security. You know, how do we, you know, at the grassroots level, how do we boost food production? You understand? That needs to be. Perhaps there will be such plans, you know,
maybe
or ongoing.
Look at it.
But such plans
exactly.
need to be communicated.
But as you know, agriculture is not a start today and reap tomorrow. Kind of
yes, but there have to be plans.
In which, going back to his matter of, there are implicit timelines in all of this.
Yes.
But so I go back to what you said, that look, maybe the president's communication team or the federal government's any communication team.
Communication team.
Know that they have their work cut out for them.
They do.
To let people understand.
I want to also subscribe to that, because there are national orientation agencies needs to come out this time and explain some of these things, apart from whatever the media man is talking about. The National Orientation Agency needs to come out aside explaining some of these policies of government.